I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We worked for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks.
What's up, JFW family? Welcome back to the Channel 23 podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to reach out and touch a fleet, to engage and inform everyone with all things JFW. In the studio today, we got a very special guest, but as usual, we have Brother Dave White, Super Dave Weldon. Jim is off today, and replacing Jim is Kyle Galitz. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody.
Morning.
Am I saying that right? Galitz?
Yes, sir.
That's how you say it?
That's how we say it.
All right. Kyle, do you know the Pledge of Allegiance?
I do.
Let's kick it off.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It sounded great.
That was good.
Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to go out and do some trucking today. We pray for the safety of our fleet, all of their families, and all the other families and individuals we come across on the road today. We pray for patience and in making the good, safe decisions. We pray to be accident-free and that we all make it back to the comfort of our homes this evening. We pray for healing and 100% recovery for all of our family members that are ill. No matter what, we trust you, God, and it's in Jesus' name we pray.
We also pray for everyone to achieve that 95 and 85 on their safety score.
Absolutely.
And their efficiency score.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a win-win if you do.
There you go. I include that in the making a good, safe decisions.
Okay. All right.
But I do like that extra.
Amen.
Amen. Yep. And I hope it's okay, but I'd like to say a very special prayer for Luis Quintino's mom, Rosa.
Oh.
Yep. She's waiting for some medical news, and we hope it all works out.
I hope so.
Yep. As a reminder, anything you hear on today's podcast is not the opinion of JFW. It's the expressed opinion of the men in this room. Episode 170 had 286 downloads. We are at 89.7 thousand total downloads and have 697 followers. I do want to apologize to everybody. Last week, I lost the podcast. This was solely my fault. And yeah, it was a bummer. I have a little bit of PTSD this morning. I feel like I'm like super nervous about this. And yeah.
You were definitely when the cords and the mics weren't working, and I saw a little elevated pressure that you normally don't have. And honestly, Jam, I know I've heard you repeatedly say, I lost it. Dude, you've been stellar for 170 of them. I don't beat yourself up. I think you've done an amazing job all this time.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I mean, we're approaching 3 years worth of podcasts.
Right.
There's one, right?
Yep.
So
anyway, do you know why the chicken went to the gym?
I do not.
To work on his pecs.
I love it.
That's a dad joke,
and the
Jim. That's
dad
good.
joke challenge is on. I'm gonna. Is that it, Jim? That's all you got?
I thought I had another one. I don't see it.
All right, I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna flex my age this morning.
Ooh-wee, that's
a
lot of flexing.
We kind of talked about this a little bit, but anyway, flexing your age. There's a TV actor out there named Raymond Burr. He's probably passed away by now. He was pretty old then, right?
Time ago, yeah.
And he used to play, what I remember him at my age, he played Ironsides, which was an attorney in a wheelchair, and it was, I don't know, always had those little cliff endings, where he saved the day. And it made it even more exciting since he was in a wheelchair. And, it was a TV show, right? Even before that, he played Perry Mason prior to that. So anyway, I just realized that he had a younger brother that was a lumberjack, and his name was Tim.
Timber.
That's funny. Oh, man.
Yeah. You only get that when you're flexing your age, Dave. I love it. Thanks for playing along, though. Thanks for playing along. Something else that comes with age, though, And I mean, I've been married 30 years now, or going to be next month, married 30 years. And, it's always private in the bathroom, right? When you're going to the bathroom, like if you're peeing, door might not be closed, but if you're doing the other end, the dirty business, the door's pretty much closed, right? And, as you get older, you just kind of give up on that sometimes, and especially guys. And I guess, do you guys know the best part about pooping with the door open in the morning?
No clue.
Oh man, it's great seeing everybody's face at Starbucks.
Oh, gross. That is gross.
Your household holds better than mine does because my kids don't care.
All right, who's up?
Kyle?
We got dead space here. Let's go.
Roll into it, huh?
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's see if we can get one figured out.
Clearly Dave's saving for last. He's going to close this out, man. He must have a winner.
I don't know about that. You'll be the judge of that.
My best one that I get from my kid that tells me all the time is what happens when the frog's car breaks down.
What?
It gets towed.
Toad.
Actually, I do have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Do you like telling dad jokes?
I guess, sure.
Does he laugh?
I saw that one this morning
Oh.
when I was looking. Dad always laughs.
Funny.
So, as I get older, I remember all of the people I've lost along the way. Maybe a career as a tour guide wasn't the best choice.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yep. And what do you think the blanket said when it fell off the bed?
Oh, sheet.
Oh, sheet.
Nice. Good stuff.
We're in sync today.
All right, new employees. Paula Herrera started last week upstairs here with the ladies.
Nice.
Hi, Paula.
Yep, doing a great job.
Yep.
Welcome aboard, Paula.
She's got good energy.
Yes.
And then we had Ronald Trujillo, Daniel Sanchez, Derek Jellum, and Tony Trejo start on this past Monday. Welcome
yep.
to the fleet.
Yep.
Welcome aboard,
Welcome,
guys.
I like the names. Derek Jellum sounds like a baseball player. And Tony Trejo, I wonder if he's related to Brian Trejo, who's a famous Christian music artist.
Or that actor, Danny Trejo, that
Oh, yeah.
plays
Plays
the
a bad
badass
guy.
killer,
Yeah. The murderer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
is a badass, isn't
right?
He's looked the same age for the last 20 years. He's
Right.
looked like he's 50 years old the whole
I
time.
mean, I don't have the specific stats on it, but like he's the only actor, a millionaire actor that literally spent 20 years in prison or something.
I think there's a few of those.
Well, true. Yeah.
There's some other going to jail for 20 years, I bet.
Yeah.
After their acting career. Anniversaries. We got Tony Martinez and Pedro Sotelo celebrate 5 years this past Sunday.
Nice. Happy anniversary, guys.
Yep, we had
Congratulations, guys.
Those are milestones, man. 5 years. That's big.
yeah, they get jackets.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a milestone? Also, this past Sunday had a 20-year anniversary, and that is Stingray. Happy anniversary, Stingray.
Congrats, Stingray. That's amazing, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sir.
this is a good one, too. Edward Cabral, 3 years on Sunday the 8th.
Absolutely.
Yep. Good job, guys.
Those are big, man.
Yep.
That's 33 years combined with 4 guys.
I love it.
I mean, that's just outstanding. That is so cool.
Birthdays. Don Keller had a birthday Monday, February 24th. Ted Torres had a birthday Wednesday, February 26th. Rob White's birthday was March 3rd. Jimmy Villagrana had a birthday yesterday. And Armando Del Val and Chili Dog have birthdays today.
Man, lots of birthdays. Happy
Yeah.
birthday, everybody.
Yep.
Happy
Absolutely.
birthday, guys.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
I know personally we've had this conversation, Jam, but I guess I need to get Armando to come by and explain to me why he has a different photo on his Connect thing there. Cause I think if you came in the office, I'd be like, that's not you're not Armando. Cause that's all I see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got the picture of the old Armando.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used some kind of filter. It makes him look like he's 70.
I look at
To pull that up.
It's funny, because obviously Jim and I can lose touch pretty fast, right? That's why I really like the Connect. We're engaged and see whose birthdays and celebrations and anniversaries and, who's new and all of that stuff. And we were actually out in the pickup like a week ago. And, I think it was when his just came out today. There was something else. He came up and I pulled him up and Jim's like, who is this? Like, I've never seen this guy before. So Armando, you're winning staying like incognito, my friend.
That's funny.
No one of this office area knows who you are when you walk in.
I do.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good picture. I love it. Family birthday celebrations. Greg Wise's wife had a birthday on the 25th. Armando Del Val's son Miguel had a birthday on February 28th. Andrew Nunez, he has twins, Isabella and Isaiah. They had a birthday Saturday the 1st. Rick Ray's wife Lori had a birthday this past Sunday. Emilio Camacho's son Emilio and Dustin Courier's daughter Jaden had birthdays yesterday. Manuel De La Torre's daughter Deliza has a birthday today. And Dustin Courier's son Grayson has a birthday tomorrow.
Wow.
Wait,
Tons
so
of
Dustin
birthdays.
has 2 kids back to back.
Yep,
Yeah.
it does.
Must be
We
a
had some-
special night 9 months from.
Yeah, we had some neighbors years ago. They had 2 boys, and they were, I want to say 6 years apart, but their birthday was the same day.
Isn't that something?
What a coincidence.
Yeah.
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 Next week, we have a mother and a daughter with the same birthday.
Oh, wow.
Oh, very cool.
Wow.
Mhm. Shout outs. John Moore. We want to give John Moore a shout out for a good recovery so far in his first knee.
Isn't that great? You know, John was so pumped about that. And it still blows me away because, I mean, I've known people getting knees and hips and stuff for the better part of 30 years, right? And he's the first person that I've seen.
What a good one.
No, that did the pre-workout. He had a name for it. I can't remember what it was because when he told me that, I was like, what? His
Instead of physical therapy.
Rehabilitation.
prehabilitation, yes, instead of rehabilitation and prehabilitation. And I just loved that.
Huh.
If that's something new with the doctors doing that, what a great thing. So what are we laughing at?
Armando.
Yeah, I wish I went to prehab instead of rehab.
That's too funny.
Giorgi wants to give a shout out to Rick Ray and Tony Bam Bam Martinez for stopping and helping when I got stuck.
Nice.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.
Yep. I want to give a shout out to Luke from Green One for listening to the podcast. We just found out the other day he listens. He knew Coleman O'Mara was out because he heard it on the podcast.
Oh, very cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then talked to George about it. So
Yeah.
very cool. Thanks for listening,
Yeah.
Luke.
Coleman usually delivers the equipment for him
Yep.
when he was in the low boy. So yeah.
Yep. Mike Bortz. First shout I'd like to give is to Clint Canmore for helping me get some frozen rock out of the trailer one afternoon. He jumped right in, no questions asked. Yeah, Clint, I can see Clint doing that. Clint's a good guy.
Clint seems like pretty go-to guy, man.
Yeah.
He just gets it done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like when he stops by and says hi.
Yes.
The second great big shout out to Chili Dog and Edward. They helped me fix a tire that I blew on the way to Rolla Sunday morning. They drove over and helped me out, and Edward just jumped right under the truck and set up the jack. My jack wasn't working, so we used Chili Dog's. He had an impact gun, and they helped me get back on the road and to work. It was an awesome big shout out to those guys. I really appreciate the help in getting my truck off the side of the road and off to work.
I mean, it sounded like a pit stop at the NASCAR 500 for
Yeah.
some
Oh,
reason,
like
man.
that,
They were
doesn't
It was
jacking
quick.
the car
I no
up.
more than got there for about 15 minutes and they were already rolling back into Rolla,
nice.
so-
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Outstanding. I just don't know who was putting the gas in the car.
Rich Trujillo in 0025 wants to give a shout out to Mike Bortz for leaving his truck better than he found it.
What?
Took out all 3 floor mats and washed them out.
That's outstanding.
Yep. Shout out to Stingray for stopping and helping Adrian Cage's brakes. And then Omar Reyes wants to give a shout out to Sammy Cookies for giving me a hand at Monte Vista. Oh, I think he had another shout out this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
Got a couple more in there.
Sammy Cookies.
Yep, galletas. Can you add it? And this is from Omar as well. Oh, this is funny. Can you add a shout out to OCL, aka Cheerios, for helping at Twin View Dairy this morning? You got some competition.
I
Super
guess
Dave.
so.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to
Yeah.
have to talk to OCL about that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Why isn't he bringing you Cheerios?
Right? I thought you had the patent on that, Dave.
Well, I got to find out if he's eating honey nut or plain.
Exactly.
I know which one you're eating.
Me, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cheerios.
No
wanna know-
thrills. No thrills.
I want to know why Omar needs help with all the dairies, and how often are there two people at the same dairy? It's like they're running team out there or something.
Not very often, Jam, I'll tell you that.
Well, twice a
Omar
week.
is brand new into a material wagon.
Mm.
He's been hauling a rock trailer for several years, so perhaps he was getting trained at Coors.
Yeah, could be.
10-4.
I know, like on, I believe, Saturday night, we had 8 preloads for Sunday. And then I think again on Sunday night, we had 6 or 7 into Monday morning. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Well,
Lots of people delivering lots of grain
that's the answer.
that may not possibly have been doing it before.
Right.
All right. So in this next segment, it's titled, Who is Kyle Galitz?
I
Kyle?
know who he is.
He's the guy sitting next to you.
He is.
Kyle, when's your anniversary date here? When did you start?
I started here exactly a month ago now.
Bam.
Nice.
Moving on up to the podcast. Look at you.
Yeah.
You'll be in the hot seat next week. And where'd you come from, Kyle?
I came from our family-owned business, side dumps, flatbeds, all the fun stuff, oil field. Better part of 20 years myself, 35 for the parents.
Gotcha.
Local, and
Okay. And then how'd you end up coming JFW's way?
actually wasn't even really looking, just happened to kind of fall upon the ad and sent it out. Next day, Dave called me up, was ready to go. Been out of the dirt, tried to go into the tire business and sell tires for one of the distributors actually on the other side of the highway, and didn't care for it.
Huh.
I missed the dirt, missed the trucks. I guess
Gotcha.
I miss wind blowing in my face and getting dirty again. So
Who you had no idea that we had a salt bin and that was just going to fulfill this.
I had no
desire
clue
of
about the
yours.
salt bin. Not one idea about that.
Hopefully it's filling that empty void for you. What's one thing that you really took pride in your family's business that you're bringing over to JFW?
Just carrying the name on. It's more or less the fact of having the pride to want to be the best.
Mm.
When I used to roll down the road side by side with the JFW truck, you felt happy, you felt safe.
Mm.
You didn't have to worry about what was going to happen going down the road. You didn't have to worry about whether or not you were going to make it home type of deals. I love the safety standard here. It's been such an easy transition because it's literally been just like working with dad and uncle,
Nice.
with Dave and Jim. Only difference is I don't have to sit at the dinner table with them. Now when I get to go home, I get to have dinner without having work.
Yeah, that's probably a big difference is driving away and being done for the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But other than that, couldn't ask for a better place to come to.
Were you a little nervous, coming to a new trucking company, being, an outsider?
I mean, you kind of always bring that with you when you're somewhere new.
Sure.
You don't really understand what the expectations are, things like that.
What's one thing that surprised you? What I mean by that, like, preconceived notion, I'm going to get to JFW, it's going to be like this, and then we surprised you, and you're like, it's not like that.
I think it was just more the expectation of don't fail.
We fail a lot.
Yeah, it's nice to have a place where you can fail to an extent, and somebody will have the help to walk behind you and show you how to do it right.
We fail all the time, like Jam said, but we try and fail forward.
Yeah.
Right. And hopefully you just picked up on that. I mean, you basically said that without saying that.
Right.
And then we pick up the pieces because we try and ready, aim, shoot. And it might be a fail. We might miss, but it was planned. Right.
Absolutely.
And this gets back. I'll bring brother Jim into it, even though he's not here, but those are the warriors in the arena, right? They're the one, they might have lost that fight, but they're the warriors in the arena. They're out there muddy and bloody and dirty and marred and scarred, but they're the ones getting it done, So yeah,
Absolutely. It's one
Failing.
thing to get your legs kicked up from underneath you. It's another when somebody walks up and helps you through it.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Failing is not failure as long as you learn something from it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Turn a negative into a positive, and it's never, ever, ever failure.
So, Kyle, you are a safety director here. What do you think about our current safety program?
I love it. You couldn't ask for a better program. You literally have two guys that are doing everything they can to make you look like the best people on the road, to give you the best assets to move forward with the biggest safety on the road. Basically, it's a big standout. You're not going to find anywhere else where bosses actually want to turn around and give you money to help them. You're not.
Okay.
Those gummies are going to be the death. They're going to be the death of you, Jam. Oh, crackers now. Anytime anybody says gummies, we all think one thing, right? But I mean, I guess those are fruit chews, right?
I call them gummies.
Yeah, I do too.
I call them gummy bears. They don't even look like a bear.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the peanut butter crackers. But my blood sugar is coming back up. So
yeah, and you kind of got some. I mean, you got some fruit chews or some gummy bears over there. You got some crackers. You got an energy drink. You got your coffee. I mean, I feel like all you're missing is like a ribeye or something.
This is what it takes to get through the podcast, guys. You think you just come in here and sit down and record? No, you need fuel. All right, Kyle, we're just going to ask you to jump in where you see fit here on this podcast, so feel free to put in your 2 cents. But we are going to move on to the discussion part of the podcast. First thing we want to talk about is the driver efficiency meetings. We had one yesterday morning, and we had another one this morning. And all in all, I think they were good, positive meetings. Anybody else?
I mean, we all have our opinions about them, Jam. I mean, we were discussing it before the podcast. Mm-hmm. Some had some high expectations, some walked away with some low, I don't want to say expectations. That's not right. But I personally think both meetings so far have been fabulous.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm super pumped about no matter what, when we're in those meetings, there's always 2 or 3 huge positives that come out of it, right? Because everybody's kind of over there and everyone's kind of the dog in trouble scenario. Right. I guess I'll give it, right? Everyone that has a dog, their dog knows when they're in trouble, right? You walk in, you raise your voice and the head goes down, the tail's between the legs and you can see it, right?
Yep.
I feel like a lot of those meetings have started like that, even though no one's raised their voice. It's a feel in the room, right? When you walk in, and hopefully we've alleviated that feeling and we've given, the 2 groups so far the impression that our whole team is behind you. Our whole team is here to help you. It's here to guide you. We'll go ride with you. We'll do everything in our power to help you achieve. We're not after that minimum of 80 and 90. We want to see 85 and 95, right? We want to see that extra bump because it's going to pay JFW back tenfold in how we look on the road, how we drive, our safety. I mean, the payback we're going to get out of this. I didn't say it at yesterday's meeting, but I did today because I'm a slow processor, right? How yesterday's meeting went, I took that information and was able to add it to today's, and we are going to become this elite fleet on the road. We're going to be some right lane warriors that our drivers are going to be making more money. And, I brought it up at this morning's meeting, and this is one of the things I didn't at yesterday's meeting. It's going to be interesting when you're sitting at a pit and you look at the other company next to you there and you just are talking to the guy, he's a buddy of yours, and you look at him and go, "Hey, what's your safety score over there?" And he's like, "Safety score? We don't have safety scores. What do you mean a safety score? How do you guys have a safety score?" And he's like, "Well, what's your efficiency score? You guys probably have an efficiency score, right?" It's like, no, we're told to haul 100,000 pounds and haul ass.
Yeah.
Right? Get on the interstate and do it.
How much did you earn in safety bonuses last year? I earned $9,000. What'd you get? Safety bonus? We don't have a safety bonus.
Right, Jam? Good point. Good point. Yeah.
Don't have to be fast. You just got to be efficient.
Absolutely.
All it is another tool in the box.
Yeah. Yep.
Just so you know, we probably have 1 or 2 more efficiency meetings, and that's to help the people with the lower efficiency scores. We also have safety meetings coming up to help people with the lower safety scores. And then we also are going to have an engagement meeting. So tell your friends that aren't listening to the podcast, we're going to either see what we need to do to get you engaged, but you're leaving money on the table there. And by you being engaged, listening to the podcast, taking the podcast knowledge challenge, it just makes you a safer, better driver. And that's what we're after. So.
Absolutely. Every time you give up one of these percents, it's minimum $750 to over $1,000 every percent. You know what I mean? Why would you leave that on the table? I mean, when I say it's free money, the effort that it takes to achieve that is so minimal. It is so minimal. I'm devastated by it. If my son came home from school and they had a program that offered anything similar to this and he wasn't doing it, I would go ballistic on, what are you thinking?
Dave,
why aren't you involved in this?
I got a funny story, and it's about you. But
well, there's a lot of those out there.
no, nothing like that, because you just brought it up. And so I'm sitting here laughing inside here. So I was doing my interview yesterday afternoon, and so I've incorporated Erica's handout that she made for our party, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I go through it at the end along with the creed and all that. It's part of the wrap up of the interview. And so I'm going through the pyramid, going through, you can earn this much for the efficiency score and for the safety score, and going through a thing piece by piece. And I just looked at the guy and I'm like, that's free money. And I said, oh my God, I haven't heard Dave say that in a long time. And here you are, you're saying it today. So, I mean, money, baby.
For the effort it takes, it's literally free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had at least 3 guys in the meeting this morning, right? That are right on the cusp. If you looked at their 30-day score, it was below par, right? But then we looked at their 7-day score because, JR or one of their safety champions had talked to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're on the cusp. We got one guy that's 1 point down from being over 95, being at 95 on safety, and 1 point down from being 85 on efficiency. And he's a brand new driver.
Right.
And he's going to achieve that. I mean, I have all the faith in the world in that young man, and he's going to do it. And I just, man, you guys, we talk about this stuff and I can't stop smiling. I mean, we're giving money away, but it is what it's going to make you look like is incredible. You guys are going to be rock stars on the road. Absolute rock stars. I mean, Kyle, coming from your family business, how do you believe what I'm saying? Do you believe
absolutely.
How it's going to change the safety culture here and how much better everyone will be if they're engaged?
It's literally just a basic check to take everybody back to the start of driving again.
Yes.
Just do the simple laws of what it asks you to do, and you're going to turn into an absolute star.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. I love the program. I think it's wonderful. Stop
for an extra 2 seconds at that stop sign instead of rolling through it, and you got free money in your pocket.
Right? Right? Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta compliment you and Jim just because, and I told you, you guys asked the other day, like, how are you, helping people change their scores? And I told you, it's been pretty organic for me. People that are coming for help are getting help. And you and Jim made it pretty clear. No, we're going to help. We're going to help everybody, right? It will bother you a lot if somebody doesn't achieve both scores.
Agreed.
And to me, I mean, I'm buying into that, but I had more of the attitude like they got to want it more than we want it.
They do.
You know what I mean? They got to want to achieve it. We can't make them do it if they don't want to, but we could definitely encourage them some more. So
absolutely.
Kudos to you guys for.
I mean, I feel like this is nothing more than a teacher in school that wants all of their class to have an A.
Right.
Right. And they're not going to hand it out. They're not going to give them an A. The students have to earn it. But it's no different than that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's not like, oh, well, Johnny's going to get a C, but that's what Johnny wants. So,
right.
Yeah. You guys are like, well, we're going to get a hold of Johnny and we're going to make him get an A.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we're going to help him.
Yeah. I like that.
Right. He needs some tutoring. We're going to help him.
I learned
people, they need to have a little motivation. Right.
Yeah.
And it's the third item on our creed. Together we joyfully create honest value.
Yeah. Oh.
And I go over that a lot. Honest value is giving 100%. It's doing your best. It's trying to give a good value to others around you through your efforts. And this is just a matter of making the effort. And if you give your best, you'll get the score.
Dave, I relate almost everything we run into with number 1 on the creed. Together we face and overcome all that stands before us. Those safety numbers are a challenge to me. And I want to see every single driver in our fleet achieve the top tier in both.
Yeah, man.
Because it's doable.
Yeah.
It is so doable. And that's, I didn't bring it up at yesterday's meeting, but at this morning's meeting, I brought up the speech that I read at the January 17th party that we had for the year end about the Sharks. you know, that the Japanese outfished the ocean and they had to travel further and further to get their fish. Well, to get their fish back fresh, they tried several different things. And finally, the only thing they found was to put little bitty sharks in those fish tanks to keep the fish moving, right? And the bottom line is, it's a challenge. And it is a fact. You go back in history, human beings are lazy if they're not challenged. We fall, we fail, we quit, we do all these things unless we're challenged. And it's amazing. You give a human being a challenge and give them a support network, and they thrive. Human beings are amazing. We are God's gift to what our abilities can be when we're challenged, right?
Absolutely.
And it can be challenged in any way, any facet, any capacity. But man, challenge us, and most people are up for the challenge.
Yeah, you learn how to run fast when that saber-toothed tiger is chasing you. Huh?
Absolutely, Dave. Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to Cece. She had sent me her scores this morning. It is for the last 7, so I'd like to see her last 30, and she asked me if I wanted it. I didn't say yes until right now. But in the last 7 days, she's running a 98 on safety and a 96 on fuel efficiency.
Well, you see, I guarantee you they've improved. Just every single person we've looked at.
Yeah.
The 30 days was like the beginning of the whole program.
Right.
And it takes a little while to get used to the technique and get used to a change in your habits. And then now every person that we ask for the last 7 days is a marked improvement.
Absolutely. I mean,
Actually,
look, I can't stop smiling. I mean, we keep talking about it, man. I freaking love it.
It's such a simple tool.
It is.
I do have her. Oh, wait. Let's go. Keep going, guys. Sorry. Last 30. I got it.
Jam's pulling data. Pulling the data.
I got it.
Because data don't lie.
The numbers don't lie.
The numbers don't lie.
So CC had an 81 in driver efficiency or fuel efficiency for the last 30 days.
I mean, that's the minimum threshold, right? So, I mean, she's 1 point over the minimum threshold, right, which is great.
But
right?
if she's trending up, as her photo said, and she's running a 96 now. So, I mean, big improvement. Yeah, good job, CC. Yep.
Bam.
Boom.
Win-win.
Bada boom.
Boy, so her driver efficiency is at a 96?
Yep.
I bet you that's top 10 right there.
Could be. Yeah. We got some people killing the game for sure.
Without a doubt. Killing it, slaying it.
Right?
All right. Let's move on to some housekeeping items. Number 1, if you are a smoker, do not throw your cigarette butts out the window of the cab of your truck.
Why?
Right?
Why?
Because it looks like shit, and that's not how we want to look.
Yeah, and it's littering, and it could
can
start a fire.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, lots of reasons. Every reason, right?
It's so weird. Like, this hasn't come up, but there's been 3 separate drivers this week that we had to tell the same thing, and I'm just like, wow, that's kind of weird. But nobody gave any pushback, like,
Great.
You know, one guy's like, oh, I have an ashtray, I'll make sure I'll put him in there.
Fantastic.
The other guy said he'd throw him in his trash. I'm like, well, don't burn the truck now, but that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, trash is trash, right? You throw trash away, you don't throw it out the window.
Yeah.
Right? There's nobody going to pick it up. I mean, it was kind of funny. Just Friday morning, I walked in, and right outside the door in the grass, there was a cigarette butt. And I was like, wow, that's weird. That doesn't typically happen here, you know? So
I got a list of 3 guys that might have belonged to.
You send them down to my dad. He'll take care of that problem. They'll never throw a cigarette butt out again. I promise you.
Yeah. I take it your dad's not a smoker?
Dad's not a smoker. I am. I used to have a bad habit of sitting in the shop, throwing them on the ground, stepping on them, and walking away. Until I had to walk the entire 20 acres of property and pick up every cigarette butt by hand to put in the trash bag to carry back up to the trash can that weren't mine necessarily.
How old were you?
About 16.
Nice.
Yep.
But it taught you, didn't it?
Oh, it absolutely did. Put it out, put it in the trash right away instead of having to pick it up twice.
Right.
I'd like to meet your dad. Sounds like a good dude.
Yeah.
I met him once, and he's like, I know you. I'm like, wow.
He actually thought you were Jim.
That's what I figured. I'm like, I don't know. But he did mention Bear. Bear went to work. Not the current Bear, the old Bear.
Oh, yeah.
Bear Sandball.
Yeah.
Yep. He went to work for you guys?
He actually worked for us before he worked for here.
I'll be darned.
That's funny. All right, let's talk about the morning and the evening sunshine glare. It is that time of the year, everybody. They do have some shutdowns along I-70, Floyd Hill area. I don't know if that's still going on this week or how long it goes on for, but it's kind of last week's news, but, could still be going on.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there a shutdown in Glenwood Canyon during that also?
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
And I think it goes on for a good month or more.
Probably.
If it's a sunny morning anyway.
I'm
that
not
may
against it.
change a little bit with time change this weekend, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know if they just, obviously it just pushes back or.
It's a different time that you got the
Bring
glare.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not against that because if you can't see, you can't see.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if everyone you're next to can't see, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Pulling a 10% grade, looking at the sun's not too good of an idea anyway.
Right.
Oh, there
Right.
you go.
Yep.
I would like to talk about remaining calm in stressful situations. Make sure you stop and breathe. Again, this is from last week, but, we had a couple situations where either somebody got stuck or something happened. No matter what you're doing, you will be able to solve your problem in a calmer state of mind than the opposite. If you're freaking out and you can't breathe, you're not making good decisions. So definitely focus on your breathing. I did put it out in the outline last week, something we call combat breathing, where you breathe in 4 seconds through your nose, you hold it for 4 seconds, and then you breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds. That is proven to lower your heart rate and get some oxygen to your brain, which is important in making decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't emphasize that enough. You have to stay calm to get things done.
Yep.
Right.
No matter what it is. Even fighters, you're in a fight, you want to stay calm in that fight, but explosive.
That's a little different level, but yeah, you're right.
Let's talk about the mechanical failure on 0056. Who better to speak about this than Brother Dave White?
It's funny because we're technically re-recording the podcast, right?
Right.
I haven't followed up on it, Jam, so I don't have any more information than we had last week. But last week we were at the point that we don't honestly know. Well, I still don't know what failed, right? We found some moisture in there because we thought we had it freeze. I know when Casey got up there, even to bring the truck home, the PTO was stuck in, but that doesn't have anything to do with the raise and lower control. And Jim and I have never seen that. And Mikey and I worked through Mikey and I and Jim worked through the process because, we know those things pretty well inside and out. We've been installing them for 40 years. And damn, I don't have an answer yet. I think there was a couple different things with the PTO when it's stuck in that still has nothing to do with the raise and lower control. It just doesn't. So at this point, I think as I'm talking out loud about it, I think Mikey had it almost down to a point where we think something may have failed on the raise and lower control inside the cab, the actual lever itself, with the cold, that when you put it down, it wouldn't move, it put air to both sides and kept it in the raised position. I know we had talked about that. That was about the only other thing we hadn't explored. I do believe he downed the truck on Monday or like Wednesday or Thursday last week. I don't know what we found out. But anytime with those extreme temps, because it was 10 degrees outside, Kyle, all you guys can attest, trucks don't like that stuff. You have an air system, and no matter how good you think you are, there's moisture in that air system. I guarantee it. And, moisture and air and cold do not mix well together. It's a recipe for disaster.
Checking them tanks every night.
Most trailers, you look at a flatbed or a roofer or a dry van, the air runs the brakes. That's it. We got the air running our auto inflation system. We got it running the tailgate. We got it running airbags. And it's a lot.
Axles.
Lift axles. Yeah. There's a lot of air.
Dave, a lot of what our problem was back in the day with the side dumps is we got away from those air switches to raise and lower and went from the electric over air.
Oh, gotcha.
To eliminate a lot of that.
Yeah.
You still had to have your air supply to go, but you never had to use it to lift and lower.
Gotcha.
We just went to a 3-way.
Yeah.
Setup switch.
Yeah. Probably not a bad idea. I know a lot of that. We haven't found an electric that gives us the control when we're loaded to lower the trailer. So it's just, if you have to trim and you let that trailer down, it's everything at once with the electric, because it's either in or out, so I'm not telling you they don't make it yet.
Yeah,
I haven't checked into it for a long time, but I know with the air, I like to feather that trailer down when it's loaded.
Sure.
So, because
this is
that's
all
a lot.
still a learning process for me too.
no. I mean, this is how
the
things,
end dumps is, I mean, not something that I've come from.
Yeah,
It's still the same concept as far
It
as
is.
running our
Yeah.
tandems and stuff, but they
Yeah.
do run different.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure.
3-way pump versus a
Yep.
2-way pump, same PTO that you had.
Yep.
You just had to raise the lever and it hydraulically raised it and it hydraulically lowered it.
Yep.
Ours, we hydraulically raise it and we gravity lower it.
Yep.
So yeah,
Mm.
yeah, a couple different, same exact pump and PTO though. Just
Well,
take that
flow boy
cylinder out.
pumps.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's a little sleeve that goes in there and you add another line. So
Just to be clear, if you don't know what we were talking about with mechanical failure, we had a driver delivering salt and he was inside the shed, trailer was going up, and he went to stop it from going up and it just kept going up and went right into their garage door.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
since you got it on the podcast now, how do you fix it?
The door?
No, how do you stop it from having the mechanical failure at that point?
You turn
Shut
it
the
off.
truck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanted that on here for everybody.
Thanks for helping us
to
get
hear,
there, Kyle. Thanks for helping us get there. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, thanks for sure, Kyle.
Turn
Cause
the
we
key off.
we talked about it last week because we have the video. And I mean, the driver did everything he could. You know what I mean? And he was to the point, he was whipping that raise and lower control up and down. And then the poor guy hit the PTO and the PTO didn't disengage because it was stuck. And, you know, not everyone has the mechanical knowledge, but those gears, when they mesh together, if they're in a bind or have pressure against them, they won't unlock from each other. And I used the analogy last week. You know, if you've ever had an old pickup and you put it in granny gear and you let out the clutch and you take off trying to pull it out of granny gear, you can't hardly get it out of granny gear, right? Because there's pressure against those teeth as they're combining together. And that would be the same thing with the PTO. And God bless him, the driver, he did a good job. He finally, you know, shit's crashing down around him and he finally shut the truck off. Then I'm like, man, I would love to say, oh, I would have shut it off right. I never would have shut it off until it got to the same point he got to. I mean, he did everything right.
Sounds like he went through the obvious progression.
Yes.
Working the up and down
Yes.
lever, then trying to get the PTO turned off by the switch.
Right.
And then last ditch effort, man, I got to
Yeah.
shut this truck off.
Yeah.
And sure enough, that
Yeah.
stopped everything.
Yeah. Yep.
The only reason I asked that is because we used to have a saying as it goes, if we're bringing it up, we've either seen it, it's either happened, or it's going to happen again.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. So the point here is when you're having a failure like that, just shut the truck off.
Yeah.
Just shut the truck off. Don't worry about lowering it. Don't worry about getting the PTO. Go make that key off the first thing you do. Then we can always start it up. You know, you can call the office, call the shop, call whatever, and we can work through that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The reason that's important, just to kind of put a price tag on what happened, that garage door cost us $13,500.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, again, not blaming the driver, but when you think about some of the costs that we incur as a company, you know, there was $13,500 there. And then also we had hit the rafters on another salt shed, and that's $5,600. So
Yep.
how many loads of salt do we need to haul to make up that money? To
A
make
lot.
it? Yeah. It's like we're almost working for free for a
Yep.
little while. So
Yep. Absolutely.
Every penny spent is a penny you don't earn.
Absolutely.
all right, let's talk about speeds and driveways and plants. Soup, what's the speed limit here at JFW?
Speed limit is 5, but I like to say when I'm out there with a driver candidate, walking speed, which is probably like 2. But if you're, and again, we've said this over and over and over when we would have our safety meetings in the morning, which we don't have anymore. That's why we're having this podcast. But 5 miles an hour versus 10 miles an hour, when a truck would drive by everybody standing in a line, the difference is just unbelievable.
It's crazy.
But when I have these driver candidates coming in the yard, they really don't get a grip on it at first. But if you're going 5 and then somebody steps in front of the truck at walking speed, you're going to have a bit of a oh shit moment. So I like to tell the guys, just if there's a lot of pedestrians in the yard, drive the truck at walking speed, you know?
Yep.
I think a lot of that has to do with what gear they default to in third gear. And when we put them in drive, the guys take off. And to me, basically, if you're in this yard and you're in third gear, which it's defaulted to, and you're on the throttle, you're going too fast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of funny that, I mean, I feel like I could tell the difference between 5 and 6 miles an hour when a truck goes by.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
Jan.
like, He's going too fast.
right?
I'm only doing 6. Yeah, it's obvious. You know, and then a lot of the pits and the plants, most of the pits I would say are also, most of the plants I would say is also 5. Some of the pits are 15, right? Doesn't mean you have to do 15, right? You could do 13 and be okay, but we want to respect their speed limits there too.
I always tell everybody there's places you need to slow down and be cool on your stool, and then other places you can make up time and boogie.
One place you want to be cool on your stool is right here at this yard.
Absolutely.
Because if you ain't doing it here, you ain't doing it other places.
And the pits and the plants too. I mean,
Right.
that's a big problem.
Yeah, but if you're coming in past the office, you know, uncool on your stool, you're doing it out there too. If you're coming in this
times 10.
right? Yeah. Hey, so I was talking.
Jim, I just got to jump in there because Dave, you did a test drive 2 days ago, and I mean, you can elaborate about the drive, but this is a driver that's been driving for 30 years,
36 years,
36 years, more than qualified to do this job.
Correct.
Right? He could easily come in here and do this job. And I mean, I should let you tell the story, Dave, but my whole point to the story is how fast he went is what you said.
The whole drive, the first thing that really made me like go, oh, wow, or oh, shit. We were driving towards Quebec on 53rd place. And one of our trucks was coming in, and there's always vehicles parked along the curb on the side of the road.
Sure.
And it was pretty full on the side of the road with vehicles parked. And this dude was going right down the middle of the road.
Oh,
and I get it. It happens a lot when there's cars coming. It's almost as if the driver says, move over, car. I own the road.
yeah, I'm bigger.
Right? But it was one of our trucks coming westbound towards the yard, and we were going out eastbound towards Quebec. And this dude was right in the middle of the road. And you know what the other driver did? Our driver
Stopped.
He did. He had to pull. He found an open spot between the vehicles and pulled right over to the curb and stopped.
Right.
And I felt terrible because there is enough room for both vehicles to go by.
Sure.
The road's not that thin.
Sure. I'm so sorry for interrupting you, Dave. But you didn't tell me that part. That thrills me to death because that guy that's in our truck that's already working here is our culture. He stopped and got out of the way and made room, knowing he was right. And your test drive was wrong. You know what I mean? So yeah, keep going, Dave. I'm sorry. I had to point that out, right?
Time and time again, I felt that he was, turning too quickly or going over the railroad track. Actually, that's the one thing that the guy did do well is he did slow down at all of the railroad tracks. And I tell everybody this, I bring you over 4 sets of railroad tracks. 2 of them are very rough. And I want to see how the driver does. I want to see if he slows down. And that's my indication that he's going to drive into the pit at 20 miles an hour, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he did slow down at the tracks. I give him that. But time and time again, I thought he was just going too fast. And,
on a test drive.
yeah. And then he started to turn in the driveway here. And I had to say, listen, I didn't say that. I said, slow down. This is a big bump and you're going in the driveway at a catty corner angle. And, I said, you got to slow down. The whole drive we were in Big Country's truck loaded with fly ash.
Sure.
And I saw his load gauge on his dash was 49.5.
Yeah.
And so I knew he was 92,000,
Yeah.
And I mean, the guy was, and then so we get back to the yard and I said, well, my biggest criticism about your test drive was you were going too fast in almost every situation. Did you realize that? And he said, no.
That's my point right there. Yes. When you're so numb to what is actually happening, I mean, it's kind of mind boggling to me, right? That you don't have the realization you're going so fast in these moments, and that's dangerous. It is just plain out dangerous. And when you don't have that situational awareness, you've lost that situational awareness. That's scary. That is just truly scary. man, we thrive on situational awareness around here, right?
We'll whip him into shape, Dave. He starts Monday.
Not.
That's great.
Yeah, I actually, and my work dreams used to be like tipping a trailer over.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I actually had a work dream about both of those interviews that night.
Oh, wow.
When I went home and
Yeah.
went to bed that night. And I don't remember exactly what they all were, but I was jonesing about the things that I experienced in both of those interviews. And
Yeah.
I driving into work that morning, Tuesday morning there, I thought, boy, if I'm jonesing that bad, I can't hire either candidate.
Absolutely.
And I didn't.
I was relieved to hear you didn't hire the first guy.
Yeah. He was a different case altogether, Jam, but still a no.
I just find it mind numbing that you're going out on a test drive to get a job with a company and you go too fast.
Right.
I mean, wouldn't you err on the side of caution? I mean, at least that's what I would do.
As a safe person, you would.
I'll just show him I know how to Jake shift, and that should be good enough.
Too funny. I mean, I haven't told the story in a long time, but my wife works at Bureau of Reclamation, so they take care of all the forestry, and I mean, they build dams, and I mean, they do all this exploration and all this stuff, and they have a helicopter crew that flies in and does rescues, and they practice all the time. And that one guy that was in the helicopter, I mean, he'd been doing this for 20 years. They would fly over the location that he needed to rappel out of the helicopter and rescue the person, right? He was the guy that tied off, jumped out of the helicopter, tied the guy up that needed to be collected, and they were out of there, right? On his umpteenth, 100 or 1,000th jump out of the helicopter, he never tied off.
Oh, geez.
Just forgot what he was doing. Didn't have his situational awareness. And that was the last dive out of the helicopter. And he literally dove out.
That moment of realization must have sucked.
Oh, my God. Not nearly as much as the stop, Dave. But yeah.
Complacency's a killer.
We're kind of joking about it, but that's the complacency, Kyle. I mean, that's literally your life and death in your hands. And it was just the simple clip of a carabiner.
For an extra 10 seconds to double check his work.
Right. And that's, that this guy's been driving for 36 years and just goes that fast and doesn't even realize it on a test drive, trying to get a job. So yeah, when we talk about this all the time, the speed, being in a hurry, all of that stuff,
I feel like a lot of candidates that come and that even get hired, probably speeding is their main issue. That's one of our main issues for the people that work here.
Yeah.
But they're not used to Cadillacing, and they're not used to doing it the JFW way. The guy I interviewed while you were gone that one afternoon, it was like, good guy. Like, I like his driving, but I had to tell him, listen, like, we want to hire you, but you got to slow down. Okay, no problem. I'll do it. So. Met with a driver yesterday because we had a video of him dumping, not using the back window.
Ooh.
Yep. And he had commented that, it's tint job that was on the window when he got the truck. He can't really see out of it, especially if it's a little dirty. He can't see it. I'm like, take it off. You can't see anything in that side window. You got to be able to see out the back window. So whether it's tint affecting that or dirt's easy. Just get out there with your Windex or whatever, your window cleaner, and clean that off so you can see. And if it's tint that you can't see through, to be able to watch that hoist and see the trailer come out of the saddle, make sure that hoist is centered in that doghouse, you got to peel it off. Got to take it off.
It's not that you can't see through it; it's a reflection.
Yeah.
So what you see is the reflection out
front window,
the clear windshield. Yeah.
If you have a ceramic tint, on that
terrible.
back window. Yeah. What are you laughing at?
I just have a hard time with the tint issue myself because the truck's not made to have tint on it.
It's illegal, Kyle. We've said it and we've said it. It's illegal. And I mean, we're dangling on this precipice of
still cool.
It's cheaper to buy everybody a pair of sunglasses than it is the ticket for the tint.
It is, Kyle. Yeah. I mean, at some point, Jim and I are going to have to be the bad guys and go, we're done.
Unfortunately,
right?
I mean,
we've already done that though, and over years' time,
we've just said, you want tint, your ticket still goes on our record.
Oh no, when Scooby and all those guys, Sean, and they got nailed down in Texas, Jim said all the tint off. I had to peeled
for Texas, Dave. If we go to Texas, you can't have tint.
No, I never went to Texas, and I peeled the tint off of 009.
You're a good Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Well, and then it was nobody had tint for, I want to say, a good 2 or 3 years. And then one driver put tint on, didn't ask anybody.
Dominoes.
Yeah. And then another truck showed up with tint, and then boom, it was Domino's.
I just know the last go round, and it's been several years. We voted in the red shop. We had a meeting.
That was after that.
With
yeah.
every driver,
Yeah.
and was like, and this was a long time ago, right? But we had a meeting over there and said, listen, you want tint, it's your ticket. You pay the fine, but it's still going on our record. It's going on both our records.
Yeah.
It's going on your CSA and our CSA
It's
score.
probably when we had Sergeant Greniger come in, he was like,
Why do you guys have, it's called glazing when they write it up. It's glazing on the windows.
Yeah.
And he's like, why do you guys have so many glazing tickets?
Yeah.
Like, we have tinted windows. And,
yeah, I mean, he just kind of looked at us like we were dumb. Like,
Right.
You keep getting a ticket for the same thing.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's
Yeah,
what I
well,
mean.
In
We're-
our defense, he had window tint on his squad car out there too.
Well, that's one of the things that pisses us off, Dave.
I know.
Right?
That's
I
why I'm
mean,
bringing it up.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's my biggest peeve with it. Like I said, I love it on my personal cars. I put it all over everything.
Put it on the windshield.
I just absolutely hate it in the truck, and I don't know why.
because you can't see in the dark.
Yeah.
You get it in just the right angle on light, and you can't see nothing out of it.
Nothing.
It's, to me, personally, myself, as a safety concern.
Sure.
Yeah, I got to roll the windows down in my pickup sometimes before I cross the intersection. Just like,
Yeah.
I just feel safer.
Yeah. No offense, Jam, but the older we get, the harder it is to see at night, man.
It's just like
There's
the radio.
Yeah.
I got to turn that radio down to see better.
Right? Yeah. I was just listening to Raymond Burr the other night.
Oh, my oldest daughter, bless her heart, she sent me a meme that said that the other day.
Bless her heart.
Yeah, and I'm like, Jennifer, you are getting old. Sends me a little meme that says, I got to turn my radio down to see better.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've had a couple drivers ask about video alerts. Just so you guys know, when you get an alert, one of the safety team members actually goes through those alerts and make sure they are valid before we coach them or make them legit. He either give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down is one way, or we could dismiss it as an event. You know, if you get a following distance alert and I pull it up and I see that you're, over 2 seconds, following distance, I will dismiss that for you. If I see you're at a second, but the camera says you're at 0.8 seconds, you're still under 2 seconds, you really need to be at 4 seconds, I go ahead and I validate that event, and that does go against your safety score. So, and all the safety coaches are the same. They do the same thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you get, a seatbelt alert in a pit, we'll dismiss those. If you get a seatbelt alert and you have your seatbelt on, we'll dismiss those. That's probably the more common one. Following distance, back on up, because usually they're legit. We don't calibrate the cameras anymore. They're auto-calibrated, so they're usually pretty close to being on.
Wow, they're auto-calibrated now, huh?
Yeah.
Because I know once upon a time we were
Not too long ago,
we
we'd
were
have to.
having to check them. Like we would have one that
Oh,
the driver kept
it's like-
getting alert. And
it's like went rogue.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, let's say safety and efficiency scores for the safety topic of the week. We'll move on to Fabio. He had some good advice discussing the secondary roads going from Ragsdale to Morton. 1 Morton, 2 Plant 14, Colorado Boulevard's closed. So you cannot take 168th from 85, as one part of 168th is only 25 tons, and our trucks are not allowed there. Some other routes available for secondaries is Highway 52 West until Frontage Road South, then Highway 7, or go south on 85 until 168 West, turn left on Tucson Street, and turn right on Highway 7.
Yep.
This is a truck route.
Good stuff, Fabio.
Yeah,
Good
Fabio,
job, buddy.
good looking out. By the way, Fabio's scores are up there.
Nice.
Yeah, he's like 100 and like
Yeah.
99 or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, he's got it
Just-
figured out.
Just FYI, Fabio, all of that water mass on both sides of Tucson Street between Highway 7 and 168th, we helped empty that. Those were gravel pits.
Oh, nice.
Done a lot of hauling out of Tucson plant.
Are they ski lakes now? Or?
No, water storage for, I
Got
think
it.
Thornton owns those. I'm not sure.
Got it.
Thornton or Brighton. Who knows?
Cool. We did put out either a Connect or we've talked about this before, but when you're at Young's Ranch, what do they call that? Pit 20?
Pit 21.
you want to tarp before you get on the scale. So you get loaded before you get on the scale, stop, tarp, then get on the scale. They don't want you tarping after the scale because you're out on the road already. So
What's the purpose of that?
Tarping before we get to the scale?
Yeah.
Keep the material off of it.
Exactly.
It's less to clean.
Exactly.
It's maintenance.
yeah, you don't want to drop.
We should always be tarped before we hit a scale anyways.
And then especially
Not up at the Morrison quarry.
and then especially before we get on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They really don't want us tarping while we're on the road. We need to be tarped.
Yeah.
That's their big push. You pretty much get on the scale, then you got to get on the road damn near.
right. They don't want
So-
the material on the scale on the road. But to Super Dave's point, there are those other pits. They have different rules. Morrison is one.
Yeah,
They wanna
Morrison
see
has
them-
cameras on the scale, and they want to make sure if you have 3/4 washed rock, you have 3/4
Sure.
washed rock.
Right.
Sure. Well, that's the great thing about checking in at each pit and having to go through their safety program
Yep.
every year.
Site specifics.
Yep.
The nice difference between Morrison though is they've got one hell of a driveway to get out of before you get.
Yeah,
You
know,
you got a
though.
mile before you get out on County Road 8, right?
Right. Yep, good point. All right. Another issue we're having this week is company radios. Please, please, please keep your company radios on. That is the easiest way of communication between dispatch and the trucks to other trucks, accidents, anything that somebody else could learn from. Just talk about it on the company radio, but absolutely have your radio on because when dispatch is trying to get a hold of you, it is a lot faster to just pick up that radio than to have to look up your phone number, call you, wait for the rings, all that jazz. So,
Yep. You know the cool thing about that radio? I just keyed up. You know the cool thing about that radio? I just keyed up again.
wow,
Isn't that cool? How fast is that? That's faster than I can call somebody.
that's freaky fast.
Right?
Yep.
So, and it's legal.
There you go.
You're allowed to have that in your hand. You're allowed to have that to your mouth.
Yeah.
It's all perfectly legal because it's a company radio.
Just don't do it while you're getting on the scale.
Great point.
Another thing is write your truck up every day. If you got a problem with your truck and you are not 100% positive that it's been fixed, write it up. If it's not a priority or a DOT item to make sure your truck is, legal for the next day, it may get pushed off. It's not a priority that day, but they will get to it. But if the other thing that'll happen is sometimes the mechanics will work on something. They don't know if it's fixed your problem. So they worked on it. It leaves, you don't write it up again. They think it's fixed.
Absolutely.
They think their repair worked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's about communication.
last thing on the discussion portion of the podcast is navigating the red lot. When you're in that red lot, we want you to go around the long way to get out. Okay. That is headed south and then west and then north to get out the gate. We don't want you making that hard right turn coming out the north side of that gate. We want you to take a straight shot at it.
Right.
Okay. Going in, unless you're in certain spots, right? We want you to go around the long way too. Okay.
If you were looking at a map, it's almost like a J,
There you go.
right?
Yep.
I mean, that's basically it in the bottom line. And we've had a few people over the years past just come straight west and drive out the main entrance over here at Denver Truck and Trailer through their gate, through
Right.
their asphalt yard and stuff. And that's not our property. We don't rent that. We're not supposed to be on it. That's not ours.
Right.
They're kind enough to lease ground in the back to us. And
Right.
we need to keep those neighbors happy. So yeah, they do a great job for us. And, we have basically a personal relationship with them as well. So
Oh yeah. Shout out to Marshall.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Marshall.
He
Hold of him
listens
yesterday?
every week, doesn't he?
Yeah. I just got his phone number. We're gonna hook him up.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
well,
cool.
And I bet he takes the podcast knowledge challenge.
I bet he does too.
Yeah.
I bet
That
he
guy's
does
awesome. Marshall complained when I say complains, brought it up to Brother Dave that there was no podcast last week. And he
Yeah,
was
I know,
disappointed.
Yeah.
That's so badass.
And was savvy enough because he's such a great listener. He's like, "Are you not putting it out to the public anymore, and you're just using it on your Connect platform?" I was like, "Wow, dude, you are engaged, man. That was awesome."
Yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we move on to what's next? All right. Speak up or forever hold your peace. What's next? We got daylight savings time this weekend. That's a love-hate thing for me. I hate losing an hour, but I love the sunlight.
Same
Yeah.
with me, Jim. Yeah, I detest the time change Spring is worse because you lose an hour, fall is easier to deal with, but what a pain in the neck. Can we just leave the clocks, my suggestion, they'll never do that, is just split it in half an hour,
Yeah.
half one way, half the other. But at some point, if they vote it in, will we stay on savings time or on standard time?
I forget which one they ran. I mean, Ray Scott ran that bill when he was in the office, and they voted it down.
Right. Which one are we doing? We're doing daylight.
We're going into daylight savings time.
Savings.
Yeah, we're on standard time right now. We're
saving daylight. I think they should leave it there.
Harley time.
That's
what we call that.
Yeah, so it'll still be light when we get out of work.
Yeah,
that's nice.
So it'll be nice.
We left a little early yesterday, and it was light out when I got home. And I was just thrilled.
Right.
Right. I leave my porch lights on from the time I leave to they just never go off except on the weekend now.
Yeah.
Because it's dark when I leave and it's dark when I get home.
Yeah.
So, all right. We are going live with our new safety program. We did make some adjustments, and we're going to talk about those. So we went live on safety, but we haven't gone live on fuel efficiency yet. Okay. Fuel efficiency, that portion, God willing, will be live April 1st. So this is the time to get that portion of your safety score or your Samsara score up.
Hence the 2 meetings we've had so far with those that are below the threshold.
Yep, we did have those 2 meetings, and we are trying to help everybody achieve this. So the changes that we made on the driver/fuel efficiency side is, number one, we eliminated the 75 mile an hour overspeed. All this is if you never went over 75 miles an hour, you got 100. Our trucks are governed at 72 miles an hour. So if you didn't get 100 here, something's really wrong. Really the only place to violate that is coming down a big hill, loaded. You're letting it go. You're not in the proper gear, which is a safety issue more than it is an efficiency issue.
Yeah.
So
keep in mind, everybody, when we built this program, we had so many things to look at. I mean, oh my gosh, there were the options we had to build off of were mind numbing. And at the time we had some overspeeds that we were like, oh my God, we got to have a speeding one in there. And then we realized after looking at the data 2 weeks ago, well, that was stupid to put in there. It was really one of those aha moments, I think, for everyone in the room. Like, why did we even have that? I mean, you can't even go that fast, and it will show in another capacity, so we don't even need it.
Yeah, what we really need more than that, and you're probably going to want to smack me for this, is more like an acceleration metric where, you're just not sticking your foot in a oil pan all the time, you know what I mean? But we'll just go with what we got.
We have many years to build on this program.
Let's get settled in and get something that works before we tweak anything else.
Absolutely.
So with the elimination of the 75 mile an hour overspeed, now it is 50% of your score is from wear-free braking and 50% of your score is from anticipation. As a reminder, wear-free braking is braking without using your friction brake. That involves the Jake brake and the truck downshifting. Anticipation is the time that it takes you to go from your accelerator to your brake pedal. Anything less than a second dings you. Anything more than a second is going to improve your score. The longer it takes, the better your score. And then we lowered the bonus score on the driver/fuel efficiency to an 80. It was 90, but with us getting rid of the freebie of the overspeed where everyone had 100, it did change everybody's score, and we feel like 80 is achievable with the same effort that it was taking you to get a 90. So, and then the extra 1%, you'll have to hit an 85 on efficiency now and a 95 on safety. So for this month of March, you still need to get a score above 90 to get your 2%. But you don't have to achieve your driver efficiency since we made changes. But we are trying our hardest to get everybody to achieve that by April 1st because we want you to go into April 1st already there instead of trying to catch up and get there.
Absolutely.
So hope that makes sense to everybody. Sounds like it does.
You're preaching to the choir in here, Jam. You know what I mean? I guess I want to emphasize, when we eliminated the 75 mile an hour overspeed and we realized how much pressure that put on the other 2 categories, that's the reason we adjusted it. We went from that 90-95 threshold to 80-85 so it was fair for everyone, because our goal is to make something that's achievable.
Right.
Right. Our goal isn't to put something out there that 3 people here are going to earn.
Right.
Right. That's not helping us. That's not helping anybody. Right. We want something that's achievable. We want win for everyone here.
Yep. We want it achievable, but you also have to work at it.
Yeah.
If you're not working on it, then we're not trying our hardest.
Yeah. There's no handouts.
Yeah. We got to throw them a couple sharks in the tank, right?
Yeah. Although I did have a driver text me yesterday, and it was a screenshot of his safety score at 99 and his efficiency score at 99.
Well, let me guess who that might be.
I was like, bam.
Boom.
Right?
Yep.
Look at me smiling. I'm telling you, man.
You love this program, don't you?
Golly, I can't get enough of it. Can't get enough of it.
All right. Questions from the audience. Steve Jackson asked, is there any way we could see a picture or rendering of what the new building will look like? Yes, Steve, you can. As a matter of fact, I posted it onto Connect the other day. So if you haven't looked there yet, take a look in Connect and you will see a picture of the new building.
There you go.
Also, prayers to Steve. He had to leave town on a family emergency. We are thinking about you, Steve, and, just God be with you guys. And I hope it all works out the way it's intended to.
Yeah. Good luck, buddy.
Yep. Safety topic of the week. Let's talk about Samsara scores. These are February scores. Just going to point out 2 things pretty quick. Well, maybe 3 things. Right now, we have a total of 103 drivers over the score of 90. Actually, 102, because JR is included in that number. He's the best safety team member we got. So 102 drivers are over a 90. We have 76 drivers over a 95. And then we have 12 drivers. Well, let's take Dave White, Oswaldo out.
I was going to say, I don't know that that's a good metric to have me in there.
No. Nope, we're taking you out. We got 8 drivers. Well, you're last on driver efficiency, so we'll give it to you here, but we're going to take it away on the efficiency.
That driver efficiency is tough when you're being towed by the service truck. Especially the following too close. It's never happy with that following.
And the rear free braking, right? So we got about 8 drivers over 100. But wow, 76 drivers over 95. If their fuel efficiency is over 85, they would be getting that 2%.
Yeah.
3%.
3%.
Yeah, 3%. Exactly. And then let's see, as far as fuel efficiency goes, we have 48 drivers over 80.
Wow.
For February.
Nice.
Yeah.
So literally, I said it this morning in the meeting, almost half the fleet are there. That's just incredible. Such exciting stuff. Huh.
5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9, 30, 31. We got 31 drivers over 85. So if their scores are over 95 in safety, there's that 3% again.
Yeah. I do want to emphasize, we've said it, but we don't talk about it that much. If you have one score over the 90 or 95, but your other score isn't over 80 or vice versa, you don't earn the 2%.
Nope.
You don't earn the 2 or the 3%. Both. Nope. To get that 2%, both scores have to be either over 80 and 90 or to get the additional bump over 85 and 95. So I just want to,
except
we don't talk about that much. And I want to be sure somebody, when we do go live, that is like, wait a minute, I have 95 on my safety. And it's like, well, where's your efficiency?
Right.
I'm at 72.
Right.
Bummer.
Except for this month. March,
yeah.
You just have to hit your safety score.
Yeah.
So, all right. And we're going to be giving Joanne all the numbers today. One of my duties today is I'm going to tally up the podcast, see who passed or completed, I should say, all 4 weeks of February's knowledge challenge. And if you did, that's 1%. So we're going to have quite a few people that get that. Looks good.
Yeah.
Sue, you want to hit us with that high road hauling?
Is it time for the high road hauling already?
It is.
Okay. Well, we touched on this a little bit earlier in the podcast when we first started talking about the safety scores and being able to achieve that level. And it all comes down to motivation. So this week, I'm going to talk a little bit about motivation. Achieving your goals, both large and small, takes hard work, dedication, and most of all, the motivation to stick with them. Even when things get tough, motivation can be elusive at times, but there's actually a science to it. You can train yourself to motivate more effectively. Motivation is the driving force behind any successful dream, and it is also one of the hardest skills to master. We live in a society that emphasizes setting goals, but isn't too great at finishing them. Start by setting realistic goals. You may have heard this before, but setting SMART goals, and that's SMART, that can help you organize how you approach your different achievements. You can use SMART goals not only for long-term goals, but for smaller ones as well. If you need to, use a goal-setting worksheet to help plan your progress. SMART stands for S, specific, M, measurable, A, achievable, R, realistic, and T, time-based. Motivation comes from within, so when you lose some of that valuable self-motivating mojo, try some of these ideas to find yours. Number one, understand your why. And why is so important. I've talked about that in dozens of High Road Hauling pieces. You got to know why you're doing something. Sometimes it's not so much what or the how that matters, but your why, the purpose behind what you're doing. 2, create a clear vision and produce a plan. That's the S in SMART. Look for the bigger picture. How does this relate not only to yourself, but others as well? Keep it positive. Positive thoughts lead to positive actions. And number 5, break goals into manageable tasks. That's the M and the A in SMART. Tackle procrastination head on. Don't make excuses or waste time. The best way to begin something is just go and start. Number 7, seize the power of deadlines. That's the T in SMART. And then 8, stop multitasking. Don't divide your attention, but give your full attention, undivided self to the task. And in number 9, stay in the zone. Your best and most productive self is found when you are in the zone. And last, number 10, visualize yourself succeeding. This is a powerful technique that can help you focus, stay motivated, and achieve your goals by creating a mental picture of yourself successfully completing a job. Understanding motivation is important in many areas of life, from parenting to the workplace to personal achievement. Remember your why and set out to create realistic goals and take them one step at a time, and you can reap the rewards of your success. Yep. And the quote this week by a very, very famous motivational speaker, Zig Ziglar. If anybody wants to Google him, he was outstanding. I do believe he's passed away now, but he said, people often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily.
Oh, too funny.
Yep. Very good stuff there. So remember, SMART, S, specific, M, measurable, A, achievable, R, realistic, and T, time-based. Set SMART goals, everybody.
You know what I get out of that, Dave, is the motivation. That's this whole safety program that we're talking about.
Absolutely.
We're trying to motivate everyone and encourage them and help them and coax them along the way. And I mean, it's still up to them to be motivated. You know, Jam had just because it happened in front of my doorway this morning, or our doorway there, Dave, had a conversation with the driver he's not motivated right now. Just kind of, you know, one of those stages I don't want to say life.
We all go through it, don't we?
Absolutely. Highs and lows, right? Ebbs and flows. I mean, that is just life. And I hear that you're High Road Hauling, and I'm like, God, you need to hand that to him tonight. He needs to read it. You know, I hope he listens to it. I know he listens to the podcast, but
yeah,
he needs to listen to that right now and hopefully come in and get a copy from you tonight. And it's where he's at, right? And it's not a big deal. I mean, I heard it and I was like, I'm twice his age. You know, I mean, I understand.
You get
right?
what you put in.
You do. And we live in a now world, and that you can't get everything you want right now. And that's unfortunate because we've created a now society and things are tougher. Life is tougher now than it was 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 30 years ago. It just is.
10 years ago.
Yeah. No, you're spot on, Kyle.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Pre-COVID life.
Yeah.
in post-COVID life.
Yeah.
It seemed like that was kind of a pivotal moment in like the economy, which makes things hard. But, talking to that driver this morning, like, it's easy to go down a rabbit hole. It's easy to get in your head and become your own worst enemy about where you should be in life and the things you should achieve by certain ages. Listen, I'm 52 years old. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm content. And when I say content, I don't mean I don't want more, because I am motivated and I'm driven, but I'm also happy with what I got. And, my buddy Timmy says, Jam, I used to pray to be in the place I am and have the things I have today. And sometimes I forget that.
Right.
So yeah, if you have these expectations of where you were supposed to be and what you were supposed to accomplish and you're not there, well, find something to be joyful about. There's a lot of things to be happy about. I don't have a house, but you have a roof over your head. My fridge isn't full of, steak, but I'm not hungry.
Right.
There's always a positive to look at. So yeah, I mean, we can worry about tomorrow, and I know this driver's faith,
Oh yeah.
I know his faith, and I know he's a believer, and, God says, right, in the Bible, worry about today, or don't worry about tomorrow, because today has enough things to worry about, so.
Good point.
Good point. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to find 100 cans than it is one can.
yeah, and don't forget,
for sure.
Don't forget, for every negative, it takes 5 positives for you to change your mental state.
Right.
So, if you're going down this rabbit hole of, I don't have this and I don't have that, well, you need to, right away, 5 things you're thankful for.
Yep. Good point.
Or 10 or 20, depending on how negative you're being. But
Yep. Good point. Jam, I forgot a shout out. It's Jim Sr.'s birthday today. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Happy Pops.
Happy
That's
birthday,
awesome.
Senior.
Yeah. Love you, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Final thoughts, everybody?
Man, I'm going to jump right in there.
Do it.
I only because of my schedule today, I have IPOC immediately after this, the Industrial Property Owners Consortium that we have about 35 members that came together that were forced to fight the politics going on in Adams County, and it was how it was crushing our business and our industry and literally everyone's jobs that work here. Right. And it forced us to open our eyes to the politics that are going on around us. And, in that we have Heidi Ganal. She's coming to speak today. And many of you should remember this. We had her face plastered on our tailgates 2 years ago when she ran for governor. She lost by a extremely large margin, but I think she put 5 million in her race and Polis put 33 million. So it's pretty tough to compete against that. And I guess I kind of want to toss out there to start the conversation of realizing who you vote for. I've kind of backed off of that here lately, but one of the big things that was brought up last night that Trump is trying to pass is, for all of you baby mamas out there, all of you drivers that work here, you have any little girls that are going to play sports, Trump has tried to end men in women's sports. So many women have been injured. They've had their titles lost. They've lost trophies. They've lost events. They've lost things they'll never get back at college levels that they've graduated and had to move on from because men are being allowed in women's sports. And I guess I just want to bring that up. Every single Democrat in the Senate this week voted, including your 2 Colorado U.S. Senators, John Hickenlooper and Michael Bennet, voted to keep men in women's sports. These are our elected officials. We voted these 2 guys in office, and they want men in women's sports. They want men to go in your daughter's locker room and undress in front of them while they're still fully intact and change and then compete against them. And I guess I hear that and I say that and I get so damn upset about it. And it's this realization, Jam, as you were sitting there saying how we're different now pre-COVID versus post-COVID. In addition to that, post-COVID was a Democratic rule that damn near took this country down.
Yep.
And that's something our leader now, he's doing away with the DEI. We don't hire someone here to come drive a truck that isn't qualified based on their skin, their race,
Gender.
who they are, their gender, anything like that. We hire the most qualified person. We would be out of business if we were forced to hire based off of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Our doors would be closed because we would have so many accidents. We would be sued out of business. We need the best person to drive that truck. And if you look, we are so naturally diverse.
Right.
We have so many different cultures, colors, genders, diversity. And Jim and I love it.
Yeah.
We thrive on it. We thrive on everybody that's here.
Yeah.
I hope we don't ever come across as racist or sexist or anything in that capacity. And I guess, number one, I'm kind of proud of that. I'm kind of getting a little off track because I want to get back to the voting and the political side of it. That the latest thing going on, because the next big race here is midterms in 2 years, and it's going to be a governor's race in 2 years. We finally get rid of Polis because he can't run again. He's termed out, thank God.
Yes.
And what he has done to this state is absolutely crushing. You guys I won't even go into it because you guys have heard me go on and on and on and drone about how bad that guy has been for our business and our industry and the state as a whole. But what him and Bennett have going on in the background, they're going to try and do a swap. And what I mean by that is Bennett is actually going to pull out of his seat that's good till 2028, and he's going to run for governor.
Wow.
Pretty good odds he will win the governor. You know who appoints the seat for U.S. Senator?
The governor.
The governor. So he will then appoint Polis. That will leave Polis in the seat until 2028, which coincidentally, that's your next opportunity to vote for the next president, which Trump can't run again. And Polis will have his opportunity to run. And his big thing is, and I don't care about this part, you guys, his big push, all he ever says, he doesn't want to run to save our country. He wants to run as the first gay president. That's his goal. He's said it out loud. He said it in interviews. That part I don't care about, right? He's just not good for our country. I could care less that he's gay. That part doesn't faze me in the least. But if that's what he's going to run on, that bugs me because that's not what does that have to do with our country, right? That's not saving our country. So, man,
Probably is the society's going to run with that right now.
Right?
Maybe.
Well, it's changing, Kyle. And I guess that's the reason I bring it up. And I bring up registering to vote. Talk to your neighbors, talk to your kids, talk to your parents. When I bring up those baby mamas, do you know how powerful a baby mama is? They don't call them a mama bear for no reason. Huh. You get a mama that's upset because her daughter is hurt, or there was a fully intact male in your daughter's locker room changing in front of your daughter. OMG, man. You haven't seen a mama bear come undone until they come undone.
Yeah.
And we need those ladies involved. We need those mama bears in this vote. And it's not going to happen anytime soon, but my point is we need to talk about it. We need to convince our neighbors. It needs to be an open conversation because it just seems like, I don't want to say a dream. It seems like a nightmare, right? Because I can't wrap my head around it. 20 years ago, if you said it was okay for a man to walk into a woman's locker room and change in front of him and then compete against him, I'd be like, what on earth?
He might walk in.
Where are you from?
He'd walk in. He wouldn't walk out.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Be,
he would, but it would be the last time ever, right?
Yeah.
He would be drug out or carried out. Yeah. So I guess those are the things, you guys. That's the stuff we're talking about. And, between Polis and Bennett, you put those two together, they're billionaires, right? Individually, Polis is just shy of a billionaire. I mean, he's between his last two gubernatorial races. I mean, he spent over, I think, $50 million to win that seat twice. Huh. That's pretty tough to compete with, but a vote is free.
Right.
Checking that box is free. Talking to a neighbor is free. Talking to your friends is free. And I'm going to be really interested to see what Heidi has to say today about any Republican that's running, because honestly, a Republican winning that seat is basically slim to none. But my God, what a dream if they could. What a Republican could do for Colorado. I mean,
make Colorado great again.
Right? They literally could, Jam. It's unbelievable. I mean, it would be a dream come true for me to see something like that.
Might not be as far-fetched as you think. This state turned pretty red this last go-around.
Yeah. They did. Traditionally, though, Kyle, most Republicans or much fewer Republicans vote in midterm elections than do in presidential years. Right? The presidential races bring everybody out. So anyway, talk to people, have a conversation. And I know we've spurred it because every time IPOC sends out one of those deals to fight down at the Capitol,
I forgot
on
to
the
put
Connect platform, I'm forwarding it to Jam. Jam is sending it out on Connect. We've got 30 to 40 people that are jumping in and sending those. And that's our voice. When you have a crazy Democrat senator that gets 30 or 40 emails from all of us here, and they don't know it's JFW. They see my email. I'm proud to have JFW on it. I'm damn proud. Everybody, you all have your individual emails when you send them. Good for you. But when those people are in that seat and they get, 30 from us and 40 from members of the CMCA, and pretty soon they're staring at 200 emails, they're like, wow, my constituents don't really want me to do this. I wonder if I should do it or not. And that makes them think of their agenda. So anyway, just be involved. Pay attention to what's going on. You want to have a conversation? Call me. Send me a chat on Connect. I'm more than happy to do that. So, Jam, you had something to say.
I owe you one. You sent me another take action.
Oh, yeah.
And was that last night or the night before?
I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, I just spaced it. So
That's all right.
I'll get that one out. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like the hate that I see for Trump right now is trumping people's love for the country.
Yeah.
They hate him so much, they'll do anything that, I sent out that funny meme, but I mean, just like, so he took a stand against Zelensky, right? Not Todd Zelensky, but the president Zelensky, right? And, now everyone's like, I'm with the Ukraine. Like, and I really try to stay away from this stuff on social media. And last night I had enough and I typed out this thing and then I deleted it before I sent it. But it's like, how are you with the Ukraine? By posting it on Facebook, you're with the Ukraine? Or tell me what you've done for the Ukraine or how you're standing and how much you're contributing. And like, what does that actually mean other than you don't like Trump? So instead of posting like, I'm with the Ukraine, just, I hate Trump would be a lot more honest. It's just crazy. But
one of the things that has come out with all of the investigation and all of that is the hundreds of billions of dollars that we've given Ukraine. We've just given them. Yeah. The European Union, they've only given them a third of that. They're just over 100 billion and it's on a loan.
Right.
And they have to repay that. Did you guys know that?
I found
that pretty interesting, right? We just gave them billions. I don't know personally how I'm affected by billions of dollars that the government gives away. Is that $1 to me? Is that $100? Is that $1,000 of my tax money? Do you know what I mean? I don't know how much that is, but the list when he was speaking last night of the programs that we've given all of our hard and tax dollars to, oh my God, I was dumbfounded. I mean, he just kept rattling off billions and billions and millions, and they were in the hundreds. You know what I mean? It was hundreds of millions of dollars, or it was $1 billion, or it was 5 billion, or it was 400 million. I mean, I was dumbfounded at his list. And then, oh my gosh, did any of you guys watch it?
No.
I watched the second part of it.
Did you guys catch the Social Security? The Dems are freaking out because he's going after Social Security. Everybody keeps saying he's going after Social Security. Did you guys know? This mind-numbing. He had a list of people that were on Social Security. Did you see it?
I didn't see it.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, you guys, so I can't spout out numbers.
Like millions.
Right. But he had lists of people, yes, millions, Jam, that are on Social Security between the age of 90 to 99. Then they had a list of how many people were on there from 100 to 109. And then they had a list that were on there from 110 to 119. Then they had a list on there. He didn't stop, you guys. They found one person on the list that is 300 years old.
Wow.
We're paying.
That's crazy.
Come on. And it was millions. Millions of people are collecting checks for people that are 150 years old.
Right. Yeah, and people are pissed that they're finding this.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
So when he says he's going after that, the fraud in it, he's going to protect it so it's there for us.
Right.
Right?
The people that need it when it's time for us to get it.
Yeah, because someone's cashing that check for that dude that says he's 149 years old.
Yeah, we've been worried about Social Security not being available for our generation.
Yeah.
Now we know why.
Right.
Huh.
And it was millions, Jim.
It's a legitimate reason to have a worry for it.
Right. Yeah. Right. And the Dems are upset over that.
Yeah. It all comes down to what it is, Dave. people don't want a tool in place to better it if they're planning on doing wrong in the first place.
Well, I think there's so many that benefit from it in some way.
Mhm.
When you're basically stealing and you're about to get caught, you freak out.
Usually, if you're against it, there's probably a reason why you're against it.
Yep. Yeah.
Kyle, is that your final thought?
That's my final thought.
Soup, you got any final thoughts?
Well, I watched part of it until I went to bed. And one thing that rang
8:30.
true, I have not heard from the last, 6 presidents. Trump said, we are going to balance the budget.
Mm.
And if he can do that, that will be an amazing achievement, because that's what we need to make this economy strong again.
I like it.
You cannot keep spending more money than you get back. And how many years in a row? You guys have all watched the news for years and years. Oh, we need to increase the spending. We need to, or otherwise the government's going to shut down. Right. And man, we need to balance that budget. My budget's balanced every month, or every year.
I was going to say, people need to look at what they're doing like it's their household.
Right.
Right. If you are in charge of your finances in your house and you have a family member that is spending a crazy amount of money on things that don't exist, you'd want to know where that money's at. Plain and simple. That's it.
I mean, right here, you guys, I just had to look it up while we were talking, and this is just one sentence here. Their database list shows 4.7 million people collecting Social Security
that don't exist
from the ages 100 to 109.
Wow.
Do you guys believe there's 4.7 million people over 100 years old? Then here's the second layer to that is it also lists 3.6 million people from the ages 110 to 119.
Wow. So 7 million people.
Yeah. And then how he made that show so funny last night, or humorous, he looked right at Bobby Kennedy and he goes, Bobby, maybe America's healthier than you think.
Oh, that's funny. All right, my final thought for the day, I'm going to leave you a quote from the great theologian Charles Spurgeon. Wisdom is the right use of knowledge. To know is not to be wise. Many men know a great deal and are all greater fools for it. But to know how to use knowledge is to have wisdom. And again, that's Charles Spurgeon.
Nice. I like that, Jam. Good stuff.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Channel 23 podcast. Hit that follow button. Also, don't forget to go back to episode 72 to help find Amber's mom. Links to her story will be in today's show notes. Let's say the creed and get on out.
Let's do it.
Right on.
Together we face and overcome all that stands before us. Together we are accident-free. Together we joyfully create honest value for those we serve. Together we celebrate our differences and respect those with whom we work. Together we are accountable for our words and our actions. Together we are the JFW family. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. I hope to push this podcast out today. Mistake-free. God willing.
I got faith in you.
Stay away from the delete button.
Yep.
Oh,
faith in you.
Man.
You've crushed it all these years.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a great week.
I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We work for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, 'cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. I hear there's a couple million tons to move. I see them everywhere. So you best get out their way and watch that sand and gravel disappear. There's another run to make. We gotta get it there on time. And we got what it takes to lay it all out on the line. We'll lay it all out big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks got the best drivers in town. They got all the tools they need to keep that hammer down. When they hit them scales, they won't need to dodge them, won't need to duck them. They just keep that hammer down, and they keep that diesel trucking. Keep that hammer down, and keep that diesel trucking. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. They just keep them doors a-closed, keep them butts in their seats, 'cause those customers are calling, and those red trucks can't be beat. They've gotta put the hammer down and pick up another load. Get it off the ground, keep them eyes open and on the road. Keep them eyes open on the road. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Breaker 23, anybody got a copy on that Channel 23 podcast? Welcome, and thanks for listening.